I'm really interested to just dive right in because my experience with DueDil, I don't even know when, but was me as an individual because I was just like curious about kind of looking at company financials and things because I was nerdy. But like just signing up on my own, access to this platform, and it seems like that's been a bit of a transition over the course of the business of like how you think about customers that you're going after and segments that you're focusing on.
Totally.
Can you talk a little bit about that kind of whole learning transition?
Yeah, that was a long road of learning. So, I mean, I think one of the really cool things about DueDil was, and certainly one of the things that attracted me to it was, for me, there's a kind of emotional resonance in what we do in terms of helping people understand companies and the people behind them. There are all kinds of benefits to that, from really practical business benefits to sort of more societal benefits around helping stem corruption and increasing transparency. And so that all really resonated with me. And I was also kind of attracted to this idea of trying to make a really unsexy area sexy. And that was sort of what led us to the free version of the product, which it sounds like you were kind of interacting with early. And so, back in the kind of heady days of VC in London, when it was all a bit new and people were starting to raise bigger and bigger rounds and trying to pretend like we all lived in Silicon Valley, even though we don't. We were looking at how can we really like juice the profile of the business as we look to raise money. And it took us roughly kind of 18 months to get our first 25,000 free users on the platform. And then we really started focusing on this, being like, hey, we can maybe get more free users on the platform. And if we get a lot of free users, then maybe we can make them paid users. And so, first 18 months to get to 25,000. Next 18 months, we got to 1.25 million. And so we had this like massive ramp up in these free users on the platform, and we were able to tell a very good story about the engagement of those users with the free product. And if we only convert X% at Y, then we've got a massive business, and people were kind of buying that. And the challenge that I guess you have when you sort of pursue that strategy is that a proxy for revenue is not revenue. And, there are lots of ways that you can kind of spin metrics. And if you kind of give away something for free that people used to pay for, then, you're going to be popular, right? I think the real learning as we kind of went on that journey from a free product to an enterprise grade product was, really understanding the pain points of the people that we're, for whom we're addressing them, right? So, if you think about that, if you think about DueDil as a proposition, right, and those we'll go back to the like 1 million odd free users. I was kind of hoping, as I was preparing for the Series A, we knew we needed to think about, who are these users? Like, what's the narrative around the funding to help us, cut a path to monetization. And I was hoping that we were going to have what I called our LinkedIn moment. And the LinkedIn moment was basically the moment that I imagined someone at LinkedIn had in like 2005, where they went on to LinkedIn and they were like, wow, all of our highest and most, highest using, most engaged users are in HR. We should build some stuff for people in HR, right? And I looked at, the DueDil user base, and we didn't have the LinkedIn moment. There wasn't any one industry, any one profile where people were just like smashing the product, right? We had a lot of people using it for a lot of different things. And so then you sort of have this picture emerge of a chessboard, right? And you have different job titles in different industries. And the challenge around DueDil at the beginning was that we covered a lot of that chessboard. So people were engaging with the product for a lot of different reasons, trying to do many different things. And some of them were casual, and some of them were, using it for, really kind of deep, more intense use cases. And so basically we had to figure out within that chessboard who is extracting disproportionate value from our product, and therefore who can we kind of capture more of that value ourselves. right? And that process of going from a freemium kind of B2C online self-serve product to more of a kind of enterprise grade product took all kinds of twists and turns, but ultimately came back to understanding, who's the user, what's their problem, and how do they buy. And I think the how do they buy is something that particularly people in B2B SaaS often don't think enough about.